And so when that came last December, I was like, this is crazy, because this shows you, again, how they don't even do basic due diligence. Like, if you knew anything about my life, first off, born in New York, raised in Stamford, Connecticut, like, you just can't. Like, I've worked in private equity for Jews. It's just crazy. But it's obviously, you get a sacred cow. Like, George Floyd was kind of like the sacred cow of BLM. You say something against the sacred cow, and then suddenly it's like you're a self-hating Black person who wants Black people back in slave chains. I'm like, okay, I just don't agree with BLM, right? And
you've also experienced hideous racism.
Yeah, of course. I
didn't know that about you. When you were in high school, you had to sue the school. It was so awful.
Yeah, we sued them for the money for me having to be out of school while this was going on.
It was only $37,000.
I know, people are like, oh, it's a huge lawsuit. It was like, it was for like the homeschool. Yeah, homeschool costs. But yeah, so I've lived through so many things. And I think part of that is why I've always known what the media was as an entity. And it's just them trying to force their opinion, and they'll smear you. And so for me, it's like, never has this been a rule. Growing up in a very Jewish town in Stamford, Connecticut, and always having best friends that were Jewish who never complained. It's a very weird culture, by the way, for Black people and Jewish people who like used to be the funny people who could take a joke like that. Like traditionally, that's what always brought our cultures together. To suddenly become these like snowflakes. Like post BLM, Black people were just like, everything was racism. Like Khloe Kardashian could put her hair in braids, and we were like, cultural appropriation. I'm like, this is pathetic.
Because they held on to it for so long because it didn't feel safe to say so?
No.
Really?
No, it was just, I think there's something about victimhood that can be really compelling. And I also think it has to do with what you learn when you're young, right? So there's this, as a Black person, you are constantly being impressed upon in the public school system, like slavery. And so maybe in the back of our mind, you're kind of like, well, we could just be thrown back into this if we don't say something. But similarly for Jewish people, Holocaust. So then when you have the news people that are telling you like, you must defend Israel or it's all coming down. Like people are going to be hunting you in New York. Your instinct is to go, okay, your instinct is to get tribal. Your instinct is to get tribal.
All of my Judaism is a very bizarre story. I actually did not know I was a Jew. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. All my friends were Jewish. My mom's mom ran from the Nazis and she married my mom's dad, American soldier, comes over here as a war bride and tells my mom, don't tell anyone we're Jewish. So I go and get a friggin' 23andMe. I'm like, what? Where's my party? Because I got a 13-year-old bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah. Like, I didn't get one. I was so pissed.
How old were you when you found out?
Oh my God, 20s.
That's crazy.
And then all of a sudden, all the stories came out about how the names were like Maltzin. I mean, like Jewish.
Super Jewish.
Full-blown Russian Jews.
Right.
I thought she was a Brit. Like, they ran to Austria. They ran over to frickin' England. She got married. Some of them got pulled into the camp. No one told me.
Told you anything because they just wanted a new life.
Yes. And I think she was afraid. My grandfather was Sicilian, Catholic. I think she was afraid. She died when I was 10, so I never got really a chance to ask. And my mom, to this day, is like, honey, I just remember her telling me, like, don't tell anyone. So now it's like I have the blood. I was closest to my grandmother. And my dad's actually an Arab, so it's the most bizarre. I'm not an Arab Jew either. A full-blown, like, Lebanese, Syrian, Russian Jew. And
you should just be fighting yourself all day.
I should be. I totally should be. But instead, I think it makes me so curious about different perspectives and trying to see both sides of every story. But all my friends who grew up Jewish
couldn't see anything.
No.
Yeah, that was like BLM for me. Like I was like, I mean, the way that I was caricatured, because I just was like, hey guys, like what about our actual experience growing up? Like, we didn't like, this isn't the America that we know. This isn't how I felt growing up.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.